I request
Asatu ma sadguraya Ahasu ma jyotirgamaya
Can we have a continuous applause?
ACMA, Sri GCS Srinivas Prasad, Chairman Subhashi Chakraborty, Council Member Sri Chhattisgarh, Secretary Sri Damodar Mishra, and my very dear friends. At the outset, let me express my deep gratitude to the organizers of this great event for inviting me to participate in that. You know, today coincides with our celebration of the Day of the Mother Tongue. Being the Governor of Bengal, I would like to echo Banglar Mati, Banglar Jal, Banglar Bayu, Banglar Bal, Punaho, 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 Punaho. I am thankful for the previous speakers, for the nice words they have spoken about me, and I wish my wife were also here to listen to those. You know, I have a lot of friends who are cost accountants. Once I met the family of a very reputed cost accountant, reputed all over India. I told her, your husband is known as a king of cost accountants. But she told me, no sir, our children called him the Dhaba King. I said, why? Because when the children asked their dad, the chartered cost accountant, to take them to a 5-star hotel, he will do a cost benefit analysis and tell them Dhaba is better. So he is called the Dhaba King. To continue the conversation, I told, I read the article written by your husband, the cost accountant, about against corruption and bribery. Since he is an honest man, what he says will carry credibility. You know what she told me? She has a sense of humor. She told me, he doesn't take bribe because being a cost accountant, he knows the hidden cost of going to the jail after some time. You know, cost accountants are the guardians of integrity in corporate world. When India is marching forward to Viksit Bharat, especially by the giant strides we are making in the business sector, industry, especially MSME. You know, we need the cost accountants to be guardians of integrity and ethics in business. That is a great role which you are playing. You know, in Africa, among the Yoruba tribe, there is a folktale. I used to go to Africa as a representative of the UN housing in Nairobi. There I heard, among the Yorubas, there is a tale, truth and untruth are siblings. Once untruth asked truth, why don't we go for a swim in the river, a friendly contest? Truth agrees, truth goes to the river bank, takes off his clothes and jumps into the river and starts swimming. What does untruth do in the meantime? Untruth dons, wears the beautiful clothes of truth and walks to the town. thinking that his truth is coming in glittering clothes, though it was untruth masquerading as truth. The townsman greets him, receives him, welcomes him with chant and great joy. Now, truth comes after the swim. He sees that his clothes are not there on the back, his clothes are missing. What that remains is the clothes of untruth. Truth decides, I will never wear the clothes of untruth. So, without any clothes, truth walks to the church. That is how he got the name Naked Truth. So, Naked Truth goes to the town. Naked Truth is jeered, boo-hooed. They stone at him, and he is ridiculed by everyone. Later on, they realize what they saw was untruth, masquerading as truth. Truth like murder will one day come out. The moral of the story is that we are the first accountants who will unravel the truth. Whatever garb untruth comes, truth will be out. That is the duty of the first accountants of the nation. Is thankful to you for that. To be guardians of truth, the guardians of justice. Now, what is the importance of the cost accountant? You know, cost accountants, Andrew Carnegie said, the famous American industrialist, what's the cost and the profits will take care of themselves. What's the cost? The profit will take care of themselves. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. One buffet. It's a very good compliment to the cost accountants. You know, you are the ones who convert pay into value. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. Benjamin Franklin said, a penny saved is a penny earned. A penny saved is a penny earned. And you know the famous master, doyen of management science, Peter Dhankhar. You can manage what you don't measure. You can't manage what you don't measure. These are all important compliments to the cost accountants. The art of cost accounting is not in recording costs, but in controlling them. Isn't it? Yes. Not in recording costs, but in controlling them. Then take care of the minutes, and the hours will take care of themselves. Lord Chesterfield said, take care of the minutes, the hours will take care of themselves. This is a great contribution which is being done by the clan of cost accountants in this country. And now, what exactly is the relevance of cost accounting in government? So government does not normally, government is very averse to cost accounting. I know. I remember, I was principal secretary to the Chief Minister of Kerala. The CM wanted me. He told me, let us do something very, very momentous for the benefit of the tribals of the state. So I called all the government secretaries, the chief engineers and the district collectors and district magistrates. Asked them, what is a momentous project we can implement for the benefit of the tribals? So many suggestions came. The chief engineer said, sir, the tribals have to collect minor forest produce and they have to bring it to the marketplace in the town. They have to swim across a very, very turbulent river in the hot sun. So let us build a bridge across the river. That will be very beneficial to the tribals. We all agreed. 10 crores was sanctioned for the project. And since there is no cost account in government, the cost came to 30 crores. The inauguration of the bridge, all the media were there, Chief Minister, ministers, Panchayat members, everybody was there. But the chief of the tribals was missing. So we knew that the media will tomorrow give it as a box item. Tribal bridge inaugurated, avoiding the tribal chief. So being the secretary, principal secretary to the Chief Minister, I looked at the district collector. The district collector looked sharp at the Tahsildar. The Tahsildar looked dark at the village officer. The village officer went and brought the tribal chief. To make him presentable for the visual media, the chief was asked to adorn a big mantle. And the wand was also given. We looked like the Dhankhar stepping out of the annals of the Bible. The media asked the tribal chief, Chief, this bridge is meant for the tribals. Yes. Do you like the bridge? The tribal chief said, immensely, immensely. Why? So, in his innocence, the tribal chief said, before this bridge was built, we had to swim across a turbulent river in the hot sun. Now that the bridge is there, we can swim under the shadow. Yeah, see, 30 crores were built on a bridge, which has no relevance to the people there. I wish there was a cost accountant there to control the cost, in government sector. Yes, that is your unseen presence is always there. If India is a transformational country, I think the welcome speaker said about we are the juncture of a transformation in this country, right? You are right. It's transformational India. Under the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India is transforming itself in every field, particularly in the economic sector. We are hastening our march towards the third largest economy in the world. The third largest economy in the world. This transformation, as welcome speaker has said, it is a great transformation. What is the type of transformation? A Nobel-winning, Nobel laureate poet, W.B. Yeats of Ireland. He speaks in his Easter 1916, the famous poem, about the revolution in Ireland. When the change took place, he says, all changed utterly. All changed utterly. A terrible beauty is born. You are instrumental for this transformation. All change in India, changed utterly, a terrible beauty is born. Your contribution to the nation humbly pays salutations to you for bringing in honesty and ethics in financial management, especially by the corporates. The nation owes you a great deal. Now, what is it that distinguishes an ordinary cost accountant from a good cost accountant or a great cost accountant? I think the degree of vision which you have. Vision and action are equally important. If you have vision without action, there is no result. If you have action without vision, the result can be counterproductive, isn't it? Before anything happened in the world, you will agree with me. Anything happens, anything is born twice. First in the mind and then in the field. Everything is born as an idea. In the Bible it is said, before the earth was created or before the sun was created, God said, let there be light, and light there was. Before that, when everything was in chaos, Bible says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It is just an idea in the mind of God before He created all of us. Everything comes as an idea, a vision. You take great revolutions of the world, the French Revolution, the American Revolution, the Russian Revolution, the October Revolution, or the greatest of revolutions in the world, India's freedom movement, all come as a vision, as a result of a vision of an individual or group of individuals, isn't it? And the great creation of the world. Take for instance Shakespeare or Milton. Because Shakespeare or Milton dipped their pen in ink, they had a vision of what Macbeth, Othello, As You Like It or Hamlet will be, or what Paradise Lost will be. Similarly, before Michelangelo, you might have seen on the Sistine Chapel in Vatican, beautiful frescoes of Michelangelo. You see, before he dipped his brush in paint, Michelangelo had a vision of what the day of the judgment will be. Similarly, when any cost accountant starts auditing, he has a vision of how it should be. A vision of integrity, a vision of compliance. Yes, it is his vision that translates into action. That is what this blend of vision and action, that makes a difference between a good cost accountant and a great cost accountant. That is the difference, Pursuit of excellence. I think Mr. Srinivas Prasad also spoke about the journey to excellence, right? Yes, pursuit of excellence. Browning says, on the earth, the broken ark, in heaven, the perfect crown. Pursuit of excellence is your duty. Attainment of excellence is not a right. Pursuit is more important, We should, in Japanese management, you see Kaizen. What you do now should be an improvement of what you did earlier. That should be there. That is what is happening in the field. Because if the community, the committee of cost accountants are respected by the nation, it is because you have been in a pursuit of excellence. That is what keeps you going. The mind is everything. Milton says, the mind. The mind is its own place. and in itself can make a heaven of hell or a hell of hell. Is it right? Mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. When a chartered accountant or cost accountant enters the field as a youngster, if his mind is imbued with this pursuit of excellence, he will make a difference. There is nothing impossible. Nothing impossible. You see, this nation is indebted to the chartered accountants for exposing many of the, fraud which would have taken place in industry. Yes, there are so many cases of chartered accountants and cost accountants in particular. See, the Ponzi scheme by the Falcon invoice discounting. It was announced by the cost accountants. Falcon invoice discounting. Then Aviva India, false invoices case. The cost accountant found it out. 7.5 million was fined on this company. And Satyam Standard. It's a cost accountant and a chartered accountant and the internal auditor who exposed this great scandal. So you are doing great service to the nation. You know what the cost accountants fraternity does for the commercial, for the industrial management, for the corporate management in the country? Again back to Africa. See, there is a practice among a tribe there. When a person becomes a youth, he will be accepted as a youth in society. What do you have to test? One test was, the young man is tied to a tree in the forest. There are wild animals all around. He is tied alone at night. He has to face it. He heard the growl of animals, tigers, lions, jackals. He thought, my God, I am tied down. I cannot even defend myself. He thought, how came the tribal chiefs could do this? Then he said, how came my dear father could do this? Tying me around a tree at night among wild animals. Day broke. He was unleashed. He saw throughout the night in the dark, very near him, there was his dad with a drawn sword to defend him. And behind the dad, there were the tribal chiefs with the raised axes. You are there. The cost accountants are there with the raised swords and axes to defend the integrity of the corporate management system. That is why, the nation is certainly thankful to you. I do not want to, I'm a student of literature. So what is the relation between cost accounting and Sophocles? There is. In Sophocles' Antigone, there is a scene. Polynicus is dead. His body is waiting for a royal burial. King Creon gives royal command, forbidding the burial. Antigone is a sister of Polynicus. She comes forward, defies the royal edict, takes a handful of dust, and gives a symbolic burial. She does her duty. Every cost accountant is an Antigone. Do your duty. Whatever be the restrictions put on you, be honest and ensure that others also become honest. That is a great service which you have done to the nation. That is why the nation is thankful to you for whatever greatness you have done. I do not want to take more of your time. Yeah, because I would like to continue, but I should not be taking too much.
Please, sir. We are enjoying your speech. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Now one person who is missing here, but whose presence we should acknowledge, is Narendra Sridharan. She is the one who benefits most from you. I was told by somebody, in the Disneyland, there is a circus, so many circus shows come there. There is a circus Sanko, that is the Muslim man. He comes and does many feats, then he takes a lemon, squeezes it, then he challenges people. Is there anyone who can squeeze in one more drop from this? So many people tried. Nobody could do that. Then a frail lady comes there. She said, I'll do that. She squeezed 6 more drops from that. Then they asked me, who are you? How could you do that? I am Narendra Sridharan. Now, I remember a tale concerning the regional conference of cost accountants held in Trinamool long time back. After the conference, the chairman said, all the members with their family can come for a boating in the Neyar Dam, it's a beautiful place there, God's own country. So many boats were requisitioned. There was wealth and merriment. Wives, children, daughters, everybody was there in the boat. They asked they were going, there is one problem. Neyar Dam Lake has got crocodiles. I was also responsible for that because I was Principal Secretary Forest. When in a crocodile farm, the population increased. We thought they will let it out into the reservoir, dam reservoir. Now, as this cost accountants team was going in boats, with wealth and merriment all around, one baby fell into the lake from the hands of the mother. My God, bellmen everywhere. The mother started beating her breast because it's a deep lake and crocodiles are there. Then the chief cost accountant there, he jumps into the lake. The baby instinctively comes after him, clings to him. He keeps swimming. Crocodiles are chasing him. At any point in time, the crocodile will catch him, but the cost accountant, he swam with the child and came to the bank. Everybody complimented his courage, but he was asking his wife, tell me who pushed me into this. So, before every successful cost accountant, there is a woman. Now, as governor, I'm asked to come to various meetings without knowing what I am speaking about. Yesterday it was chartered accountants, today it is cost accountants, and tomorrow I'm going to doctors. So now one problem is that, see, I was also in the IAS. So we have to say so many things, face so many situations, discuss with so many people, not really knowing what it is. The IAS is known as the jack of all trades and master of none. But we are asked to go in many places. One day, it so happened, when I was the Principal Secretary to the Chief Minister, he said, you should also hold the portfolio of culture. So I was becoming Culture Secretary also. Because he wanted to hold a big cultural event in Delhi to protect Kerala's best before the Prime Minister at that time. So, again, Bhawan was booked. Then somebody told us, sir, some of the student unions, they will get in and create problems. So immediately I said, bureaucrat, I said, okay, then let them come only with the security pass issued by the Commissioner of Police. We also put the policemen in Mufti to be volunteers to check it. There came Amit. He forgot to take the pass. The policeman asked him, sir, pass. He said, I'm sorry, I forgot to take the pass. Then somebody said, this is Amit. Policeman said, I want some proof for that. Somebody said something from Diva. You dialogue and got it. Proof, no pass, but proof is there. Then comes Amit. No pass, ask for proof. He plays on the salute, proof, he is late. Then comes J.P.Nadda, the singer. He was no pass. They asked for proof. He sang one or two lines and he was also late in because proof is there. Then I came. I didn't know any of these things. When I came, the policeman asked me, sir, pass. With the typical IAS arrogance, I told him, pass for me? I am the Culture Secretary. He told me, sir, nobody is denying that. But here, pass is required, there are some instructions. If pass is not there, you should show proof. Proof for me? Then he said, please don't take it that way. Here, Amit came, Amitabh Bachchan came, Yesudas came, they got no pass, they should prove. I became wild again. Amitabh Bachchan, Yesudas, who is? Who is this guy? Then the policeman asked, you don't know them? I don't know them, why should I? Then he told me, no more proof is required, you are the Culture Secretary. I wish you the very best. It is one of my fortunate events that I could come and be with you. In fact, when I came here, see, I could see here that, when I have addressed many conferences like this. But I tell you, this is one of the most dignified and most purposeful conferences that I attended Credit goes to the members who are in the audience. Thank you very much for that. Now, for the information of those who are controlling the meeting here, of course you know how to control a meeting, but some tips I can give you. In Singapore, there is a legislation. Nobody can speak in the public platform for more than 5 minutes. If anybody exceeds the time, there is an insurance scheme there. The time of the audience will be insured, the speaker has to pay the premium. Either you can introduce in your national meeting, or second best is perhaps the Greek model. In Greece, Athens, the regular participatory democracy. There, anyone can come and move a resolution. You need not be an elected senator or MLA or an MP. But one condition, you come on the city square, thousands of citizens will be in front of you. Before you speak, you will be asked to stand on a wooden platform. Before you start speaking, the city father, the mayor will come and put a noose around your neck. Once you speak, what you say is accepted by the citizens in front. The nose will be removed from your neck, even on the platform will be removed from underneath. So maybe the Greek model you can. You later invite me also not to be in the platform but in the audience. Now, recently, I had a discomfiture for speaking more. Governor is the chancellor of universities here. So I take education very, very seriously. Some of the universities could not hold their convocations in 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. I thought I will go on a campaign holding convocations and issuing the certificates and degrees. One of the convocations, I gave a long speech on education and new education policy and all these things. People clapped and laughed. I felt encouraged. I spoke for more than 1 hour. At the end of the speech, I said, because old people like me, when we see youngsters, we feel like advising them. So I told them at the end of my speech, we need educational reform, we need industrial reform, we need cultural reform, we need social reform. A student from the audience told me, but you need some chloroform. Before I said that, wish you the very best. Thank you very much for inviting.
This is the program organized by the Cost Accountants of India. The cost accountants are movers and shakers behind India's transformation to economic progress. They defend the ethical values and compliance in the business world, particularly in corporate management. We owe a lot to them for giving a fillip to India's spiritual growth in the field of economy.
Sir, one more thing that today you have mentioned in your PT speech that there were so much convocations, different universities that was on hold. You tried to conclude the problem also. If you please enlighten that part.
For a variety of reasons, convocations were not held for quite some time. Now we are trying to straighten the path and hold competitions to the extent possible, so that student community will not be disadvantaged.
Sir, as you are the governor of the state, many parts of Bengal there are news is coming from that police are being attacked many times. Police officers, some shot at Howrah, some happening in Malda. How you are looking into this matter?
See, it's a matter of concern. And for quite some time, not under this particular government alone, violence and corruption are increasing in the state. Concerted effort has been made, not only by the state government, but also by all the stakeholders, the civil society, the media, silent majority. They all should join together to fight against the evils of violence and corruption in the state.
Sir, last question from my side at least, that we know that within 1 year the assembly election is coming. So as you have also seen many post-poll violence, pre-poll violence throughout the election procedure, are you planning to do any kind of action what can at least control this violence in state regarding this polling and all this?
Of course, it's my duty as head of the state under the constitution to see that right to life is protected. Whatever is required will certainly be done in a very, very proactive and effective manner to contain violence in the state, particularly during election. I want to have a violence-free, corruption-free Bengal. We'll try for that.
Will you communicate anything to President or agent or Home Minister or Prime Minister or President, anyone?
Appropriate things will be reported at the appropriate time, the appropriate authorities in the appropriate manner.